Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Instagram DMs, and I'm going to try and address this taboo subject. It's taboo for some people it's their bread and butter. I want to address this taboo subject, give you an exact plan to go away and do that addresses two different types of people. The people who are skeptical, the people who look at DMs as sleazy and salesy, and the people who are doing them to get better at them. Sounds like a fair trade-off for your time for watching this video. So let's get stuck in. So first things first, Instagram DMs. DMs are just conversations that turn strangers into cash. So the biggest problem we have with our coaches isn't the DMs that they're sending, isn't their approach to it, it's their mindset behind it. It's the way they look at it, it's the paradigm, the lens they look at DMs through. And so I had a call with our coaches earlier, and I said, what's your whole mindset around DMing? How do you feel about it? And we got a whole bunch of different answers. And one of the other questions I asked them is like, how would you like to be sold to? I gave them a couple of examples. So we've got clients running ads, doing very, very well. And some of them aren't getting replies to these ads of people who have opted in. And so I said to them all in the call, if you opted in for an ad that was related to fitness, how would you like to be contacted? And the difference and replies, the variations, was mad. So some would be like, what if I called you straight away? Oh, I'd hate that, it's invasive. Some are like, I'd prefer a phone call, that would make me feel like they're on it. Some people were like, oh, I would just prefer a text. Some were like, I'd prefer a voice note. Some were like, I wouldn't like to be contacted, I would rather contact them. And that just shows you the whole difference. And when it comes to DM setting, any sales process, key thing is the person receiving the sales process from the business owner is the key part. So you have to adapt it to the person. So anybody who thinks they've got the perfect DM script or the perfect DM approach is lying. They're probably trying to get your money, or they're trying to get you to opt into something. The truth is, there isn't a perfect way. So I'm not trying to teach you that today. What I'm trying to do is change your outlook around DMs. Okay, you've got your own narrative, but sometimes you need to change that a little bit. Stay within your values, all that good stuff, but you need to change your narrative sometimes in order for you to progress and do things that you wouldn't normally do because of that narrative. Make sense? This is all DMs are. Stripped back. Forget about, oh, sleazy, salesy, what if it's like the person thinks I'm weird? So it's just message. What comes next? Convo. Call. And then sale. That's all it is. Okay, so that's it broken down to its like simplest form. Really what you have to look at here is these four parts. So like, what is the message going to be? How are you going to message something that is aligned with you? And obviously the key thing to any message here is the target market. Now, a lot of coaches struggle with DMs. I can't book calls, and they kind of go here and it's like, oh, you know, the performance is down, no one's booking in. And actually they never go back to look at this part. It's because coaches typically don't spend enough time on the target market. They do their avatar and then they just skim over it. But this message could be decent, but it's just going to the wrong person. That's the first part. So the message that you send just doesn't get picked up because the wrong target market has seen that message. So it goes message and then the conversation, and this is where you can kind of have a bit of a flow to it. Now again, historically, especially in the online coaching space, this has been ridiculed because people are doing ridiculous tactics in order to get people in this conversation. They're saying some crazy stuff, but there is points here to get out of it. So like if you think of, if I was to say to you like the 3 to 4 most important points that you want to get out of a conversation inside the DMs, it would probably be like, you know, friendliness, so building rapport. And then it would be problem, like what is the problem? How can we get to the bottom of it? Then it's like, what if they tried? And then from here, you can transition in to say, like, what's their goal? And if you can kind of rinse and repeat that, but in a kind of laid back way or in a way that suits you, you should be probably getting somewhere with the conversation. So we actually look at this like building the rapport piece. Now, if you go on their Instagram and you look at their profile, maybe they got married 3 months ago, mention that. If they've got a dog, go and mention that. The problem piece, once you get into it, it's like, also, how's your training going? Yeah, training going okay, but you know, I hurt my knee like a couple of months back, so I've not been able to do my runs. Okay, was it running that hurt your knee? Yeah, it was this. What's the pain like? And a conversation there. And it's like, right, okay, but like while you're doing your running, like what else have you tried? Oh, I was with a coach 2 years ago and this and that. And this starts to open up and tell the full story. So it's like when your knee gets better, like what's the goal then? Is it to get back to running? Okay, how far have you normally ran in the past? Like did you do 10Ks? Did you do half marathon and stuff? And that's where it comes into here. And this is where when you feel the time is right, this is when you propose a call. That's it. It's that simple. This is when you propose a call and then you get them on for the sale. Now I know I'm oversimplifying this because it goes through different stages, but for the advanced DM senders, they sometimes get too complicated. And for those who have not started it, this is the way to start it. So it's really, really simple. And so here's the truth, right? Let me draw a big bomb. that's fizzing away, right? This is the truth bomb. If you can't book calls in your DMs, you don't have a DM problem, you have a communication problem. Like, your communication isn't working with your target market. Now, the ones who have the most success with DMs are the ones that know their target market inside out. Even when they ask all these questions, they're asking so that the person can tell their unique situation. But any great coach that's been spending time in DMs and using this as a strategy almost always knows the answers anyway for the DM. What DMs comes down to, and this is kind of not your usual conventional help you've had with it. This, and you'll hate that I say this, know your ideal client. Like I mentioned before, see, if you're messaging the wrong people, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what magical script you get off some online coaching mentorship. You need to know your ideal client. The next thing is you need to ask better questions. And then lastly, you need to not be weird. And that's the secret to setting appointments on Instagram. Learn what appointments actually are. Strip it back to basics. Understand the flow and the purpose of them. Know your ideal client, because no matter what you do, message-wise, if you don't know your ideal client, as soon as they start talking to you, you're not going to know what to say. Not only that, but you won't even have the solutions. Half the people I see in DMs when I read them, they don't actually know the solution to the problem that the prospect tells them, and they just have to wing it, and then they force a call and stuff like that. So it comes down to this. And so if you're speaking to the wrong people, you're never going to get calls booked, or they're going to be forced. If you don't ask good questions, then you're never going to get them to open up and share, which means there's never a door open for a call. And if you're going to be weird, then no one likes anybody that's weird. Right? And if you think of this, it's like people always relate DM setting to like dating and stuff. Know the type of girl that you love, the type of guy that you like. Ask questions, get to know the person so you can find out if they're a weirdo or not. That's it, it's really simple. If you go in the description, I'm going to leave a little SOP for you to use, steal it, in the hope that you can install it into your business and finally get over that like DM thing that you've got, because it's probably holding you back. Look, people slate DMs. For us, it's just another strategy to add to a whole host of strategies that any business should use, because if your target market is on Instagram, like, why would you not set up a strategy to DM them? Yes, it might take a while for you to find your own flow, but what are you going to do? Wait for leads to come to you? That's not how you scale a proper business. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.